Welcome back. So in this particular video, we're going to talk about what is a business pitch competition. But before we do that, we need to talk about exactly what is a pitch. Okay? Now, some people also say, was a business pitch like an elevator pitch? Yes, and there's also elevator pitch competitions. These are relatively synonymous, although some people might say that an elevator pitch has to be 30 seconds and less, and the business pitch might be up to 5 minutes. I mean, they are so similar that I'm not sure it's worth distinguishing between the two. Okay, but we'll talk about business pitches in this particular playlist. Although keep in mind that an elevator pitch could be synonymous with a business pitch. So you've all heard of these, probably, right? You think about how popular business pitching has become in mainstream media. Think about like Shark Tank. You may have seen this show on TV. It's also on Netflix. There's also Dragon's Den. That's a Canadian version of Shark Tank, so everybody's like a lot more polite and they say A all the time, right? But this is something that's going on in terms of pitch competitions across the world. And basically the idea is you are translating all that fancy cool stuff that you want to do in your business. You're taking, and this applies to any business really. Whatever you're doing in your business, you could, if you actually want to put every single thing down that you're doing, it could be thousands of pages. You could write books, encyclopedia volumes on it. That's great, but that's not what you're doing in a business pitch. You want to take, out of the 2,000 pages that adequately describes your business, you need to condense all of that information into increments normally of 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, and 5 minutes. Okay? The other thing that you've got to do in a pitch that's different than writing a 2,000-page encyclopedia series on what your business is doing is you've got to make sure that your pitch translates whatever you're doing into such a way that it resonates with your audience, right? So that's what you're doing in a business pitch. You're condensing and then you're translating. And by the way, if you ever watched Shark Tank or Dragon's Den, you notice that that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to pitch to the judges. They're trying to pitch to the funders, okay? And they've already condensed, and now they've got to translate, okay? Now, if you don't want to talk about the TV shows out there, there are startup weekends and pitch competitions all over the world. In fact, I read a statistic that just last year there were about 100,000 pitch competitions hosted by universities, businesses, banks, incubators, and this was in 135 different countries. So there are pitch competitions going on all the time. This is something that's very, very commonplace. Okay. Now, normally how these things look is usually it's like a long weekend. So it might be like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday kind of thing. And you'll have pitch activities going on. I mean, when we did these in LA, they pretty much started like at 8 in the morning on that Friday, and they didn't end till that following Monday, till sometimes like 9, 10 o'clock at night. And there's a lot of things going on at these kind of startup weekends or pitch competitions. So it's really just a big, bustling event. As I mentioned, your pitches can be 60 seconds, 2 minutes, 60 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, and or 5 minutes. Normally, the number of pitches that you'll find at competition is directly proportional to the number of contestants in a pitch competition. So, for example, when I was in LA, we would have sometimes 200, one year there was actually 500 people in a pitch competition. They came from all walks of life. When you got 500 or 200 to 500 people in a competition, or even more, you're going to spend a lot of time just eliminating pitches that are just not suitable, right? So that's why you have that 30-second round, you eliminate them. They have a minute round, you eliminate them again. 2 minutes, maybe I'm getting a little interested here, so you eliminate some more. And then when you have the 5-minute round, it means, okay, this is something that we actually want to hear more about, but is it good enough for funding or not? We're not sure at this point, okay? Now, if you have a smaller pitch competition, with a dozen students or 2 dozen students, you might just have 1 or 2 rounds, like a 2-minute round and a 5-minute round, or kind of whatever you think is suitable, because you may not need to focus on eliminating so many pitches to kind of economize the judge's time. Now, normally pitch competitions are judged by a very diverse group of audiences. You want to have people who come from all walks of life. You want, of course, practicing entrepreneurs, sure. You want to have people that are in venture capital. You want to have people that are in banking. You want to have people that are in sales, logistics. So you want them in those kinds of broad industry categories. If you think there's going to be people who are in agriculture, you might have some agribusiness executives be your judges. You also want different age groups too. You want to have kind of some older judges and some younger judges so that they can kind of relate to whoever's pitching in a variety of different ways. When I was in LA, because we had so many people doing our pitch competition, we actually had multiple pools of judges, and we would kind of funnel competitors into pitch sessions with judges who kind of closely matched their particular industry or what they were doing so that they could give a little bit better feedback. One thing I think that is common to all judges in a pitch competition is that they are somebody who is interested in new ideas. There's somebody who's creative, there's somebody who's very intelligent, and there's somebody who is interested in working and mentoring with somebody who's got a really, really cool idea. So these are usually patient people, these are good mentors, because that's, again, and this is where we talk about the prizes that come with a business pitch competition. You might get cash prizes. I know in LA with our 500 person competition, the first prize was $20,000. You may get invited to join an incubator. That's where you spend usually several months working for a tech company's incubator, developing your idea. In exchange for that mentorship and that help, you give up a portion of the ownership, right? So it's kind of like the same thing that you see on Shark Tank, where you're trading partial ownership in exchange for cash, mentorship, help, etc. You may be invited to pitch again at a later date once you've developed your idea a little bit more, or pitch again privately to some people interested in funding your business. And of course you may meet some angel investors who are just interested in meeting with you outside of the competition and helping you. But I think the most valuable thing, and this comes from the judges, is the feedback that judges can give you. Okay? They're going to give you insight, they're going to give you ideas, they're going to tell you what they think, because these are the kinds of people that will eventually become your customers, people that are going to fund you. And it's important, especially as a beginning entrepreneur, to hear some of this feedback. So, we've just finished up what is a business pitch competition, what is a business pitch. In our next video, we're going to talk about some common mistakes in business pitching. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.